To you by 5-Hour Energy. Fuel your day with tasty caffeine, available in stores and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
Highlights courtesy of 710 ESPN LA here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. And you can be a part of Unsportsmanlike Nation on the Dr. Pepper call online at 888-SAY-ESPN. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's on college football season without the delicious taste of an ice cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. So the Rams yesterday, 42-26, they win over the San Francisco 49ers. Matthew Stafford, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Last 3 games played, touchdown-interception ratio. Ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? 5-zip, 4-zip. 4-zip. That's 13-0 in terms of touchdown to interception ratio over the last 3 games. No longer can the Rams be hiding in plain sight, as we have been saying with them, that they may be the best team in the NFC, may be the best team in the NFL, arguably, and we're not talking about them a ton. I think right now, even though ESPN Bet has Drake May as the favorite for MVP, you could certainly make the argument that Stafford is the MVP and that the Rams are the best team in the NFC. And I think we have to almost look at them as this is the moment where now we're focused on them. They have Seattle this week. Stafford's right there for the MVP. And historically, you brought up the numbers, CC. There's an argument that maybe he's underappreciated historically.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it. But here's the thing. When it comes to Matt Stafford, you want to look at the numbers that he's been able to compile and assign a certain level of gravitas to his career of success, but he doesn't have the accolades to be able to match it, right? No Super Bowl MVP, no All-Pros, no MVPs. Mm-hmm. So is he truly one of those quarterbacks that you would say is the best to ever do it? Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Is he going to have a gold jacket on? I know that there are arguments for and against, but when you look at the overall numbers, it says that he belongs in that class of quarterback. And I just can't help but go to the place of how influential the results of this season could be on how we feel about his career as a whole, right? Because a lot of people say, you know, Eli Manning, is he a Hall of Famer? Isn't he a Hall of Famer? Well, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings and 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and he beat Tom Brady in those games.
And 2 of the greatest throws we'll ever see.
Exactly. So he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But when it comes to Matt Stafford, we're still waiting to see that. And I get that he microwaved the championship in L.A. the first year he got there. He was the missing piece to put them over the top. But again, he wasn't the best player in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that you could ever say that at any point he's been the best quarterback in the National Football League. He's supremely talented and he's got great numbers, but I think a lot of those gaps in his resume are what keep us from going to the place of putting him there with some of the all-timers.
Yeah, he is definitely underrated. And when you drill into some of the numbers, especially the postseason numbers, they're amazing. He has written himself into history a lot of times. He ranks number 1 in NFL history in passer rating on the road in the postseason. And if we go back to that Super Bowl season, he's the only quarterback to date, the only NFL player to reach 6,000 yards, 50 touchdown passes, and win the Super Bowl in the same season. I think a lot of the things that we point to, those top-line resume things that he doesn't have, if he wasn't in Detroit to start his career and he was with a different franchise at that time, would those accolades have come? Would it have been different? And I think that that is the juxtaposition of Matthew Stafford's career. With the Rams, it's been amazing. He has not only won a Super Bowl there, but put them in a position to contend year in and year out. Think about how the receivers around him have grown in LA. Think about what he's been able to do with Cooper Kupp and then with Puka Nacua. I mean, he has really elevated that franchise in a very significant way. And the numbers were there in Detroit. He was an excellent quarterback there, but obviously didn't have the individual accolades or the team success there.
Quick groupthink project. Cece, you just pointed out, I mean, Smalls just gave the resume, right? It's ridiculous. I think he ends up in the Hall of Fame one day. But you just pointed out at no point was he the best player, best quarterback in the league, or did we argue that he was? Last 20 or 30 years, let's say. Has there been a quarterback that no one ever argued was the best quarterback in the league that ultimately became a Hall of Famer? Like Drew Brees, is going to be a Hall of Famer. Did anyone – I feel like there were people that argued that he was the best quarterback in the league for a year here, a year there, right? Rodgers definitely. Brady and Manning obviously. Eli, nobody ever argued was the best quarterback in the league, but has 2 Super Bowls, as you mentioned. Kurt Warner, I believe, absolutely at one point was the best quarterback in the league or playing the best in the league. right? I mean, because that was pre-Brady Manning in terms of dominance around this league.
I mean, the greatest show on turf offense was the greatest in history.
Yeah.
He was the quarterback of that.
Exactly. So Stafford to me is a better version. I don't mean this as an insult. I mean this as a compliment. He's a better version of what Carson Palmer would have been if Carson Palmer was healthy in a competent situation for the entirety of his career. Because there were a lot of times where you looked at Carson Palmer and said, all right, it's Brady Manning, and then who's next before the Rodgers-Breeze part of it? And Carson Palmer was actually really good.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at Stafford, because no one puts him above Mahomes, Allen, or Jackson, right? And he's definitely not better than Mahomes, but numerically, I mean, this is a guy that if he continues on this pace, which is going to be impossible, but I mean, he could have a 50 touchdown season this year with 6 or 7 or 8 interceptions total.
Yeah, but I guess the question is he more of a product of this era of NFL and the rules changes to protect quarterbacks and the rules changes to allow more productivity in the passing game than he is being an all-time great? Like, I think all of those things factor into the math. You brought up Drew Brees, which I think is an interesting test case, but there was a stretch of about a half a decade where Drew Brees was in the conversation to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. 3 of 5 seasons during that span, he threw for over 5,000 yards. And oh, by the way, he won a Super Bowl over Peyton Manning. So, like, Drew Brees cemented himself. He got Super Bowl MVP that year. He was a first-team All-Pro during that time. Like, there have been accolades that you associate with being an all-time great that Drew Brees was able to achieve. He checked those boxes. We haven't had those moments with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, but we talk about him not being the best quarterback in the league in this era, right? But okay, Lamar, obviously a Hall of Famer, a 2-time MVP. Lamar Jackson is going to be a Hall of Famer. When it comes, both of them healthy, you're in the postseason, game on the line. Who do you trust more, Matthew Stafford or Lamar Jackson?
Matthew Stafford, but that's I hate even saying that because it's a knock on Lamar, and I don't want to knock Lamar.
I'm not trying to knock Lamar. More so, I'm trying to big up Matthew Stafford.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to say that this is a guy who has been so consistent in his career, so resilient, and when the postseason comes, we see the best of him. And we don't. Maybe he's not the best quarterback in the NFL year in and year out, but when it matters the most, we trust him in those big time spots. We talk about the Eagles and the team that played them the toughest last year, and it's the Rams. We're talking, Evan's been saying that they're hiding in plain sight. When it comes to the postseason, a lot of us are going to defer to picking the Rams because not only we trust the head coach and Sean McVay, but we trust the quarterback in Matthew Stafford to get the job done.
Let me ask you guys this, though. And I don't mean to take a shot at this guy. Why is Joe Burrow considered to have a better career than Matthew Stafford? Why is there a love affair with Joe Burrow?
Who says he's had a better career than Matthew Stafford?
There is a love affair with Joe Burrow that does not exist with Matthew Stafford outside of Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah,
I'm serious. Like,
Matthew Stafford's won a Super Bowl.
Right. And so think about this for a second. Who is telling us Matthew Stafford's great, the way that people tell us that Joe Burrow's great? And maybe the answer is it's such a given that Matthew Stafford is great that no one needs to tell us that. But I feel like I am reminded a lot from people about how great Joe Burrow is. And my answer is I know. He's banged up, but I know that. Tell me that Stafford's great.
It's because we lump this group of quarterbacks together, Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Mahomes.